Have you ever wondered, what if Yuji was born with every cursed technique? What if, from the very beginning, he had power beyond anything the jujutsu world had ever seen? Could he rewrite fate and become the strongest sorcerer alive? Or would that overwhelming power come with a price he could never escape? The story begins when Yuji opens his eyes for the first time. The moment he is born, the jujutsu world feels it. Sorcerers across Japan sense a shift in the flow of cursed energy, the same feeling that had when Satoru Gojo was born. But this time, it is even more terrifying. The higher-ups are confused, the clans go quiet, and in a hospital room somewhere, Kenjaku stares at what he has created and realizes, for perhaps the first time in centuries, that the experiment exceeded every expectations. He had wanted to create the perfect sorcerer, a vessel capable of housing unlimited technique, unlimited potential, a living archive of jujutsu itself, and he got exactly that. And then, as he always does, Kenjaku leaves. His interest is in the design, not the life that results from it. Yuji's father perishes soon after, and so the boy who just changed the shape of the world is left in the care of one man, his grandfather, Wasuke Itadori. For years, the clans come knocking at his door, the Zenin, the Gojo, and the Kamo clan. The higher-ups keep sending representative after representative to the Itadori household, each of them using different words to say the same thing: give us the boy. Some offer money, some offer protection, some make threats disguised as proposals. Wasuke says no, every time, without hesitation. He doesn't care what Yuji is, he cares who Yuji is, and he refuses to let the jujutsu world turn his grandson into a weapon before he's even had a chance to become a person. But that changes when Satoru Gojo shows up, because Gojo doesn't come with an offer. He doesn't come with clan politics or institutional leverage. He comes, looks at Yuji, and sees something the others were not able to see. He looks at him and sees himself. He knows that they will never give up to try and acquire the boy, but he also sees that he has an incredible potential as a sorcerer, and with his guidance he can change the new generation of sorcerers. So he makes Wasuke one promise: he will not turn Yuji into a weapon. He will raise him to change the jujutsu world. And the old man, who has spent years reading people and their intentions, believes him. And just like agreed, after Wasuke passes away, Yuji goes to Jujutsu High, staying under the care of Gojo. But here's where our timeline diverges from the very beginning. Since Gojo decided to escort Yuji to Jujutsu High, Megumi Fushiguro was sent alone to recover one of Sukuna's fingers. A straightforward mission, or so it should have been. But the finger isn't alone. Jogo, the special grade cursed spirit, sent by Kenjaku, is there waiting. Megumi knows he is too strong for him. Desperate, cornered, Megumi begins the ritual to summon Maharaga, the most dangerous of the 10 shadows, the one no sorcerer has ever tamed, the divine general that even Sukuna himself had to fully exert himself to overcome. But Jogo doesn't let the ritual complete. Instead, he force feeds the finger directly to Megumi. Sukuna wakes up in a new vessel. Clans get their hands on him. The promise he made to Wasuke becomes worthless, so he controls the training environment carefully, keeps Yuji's development as hidden as possible, and begins building the foundation. Nobara joins them. Missions begin, and with every encounter, every clash with cursed spirits and sorcerers, Yuji's library grows. He studies Megumi, absorbing the logic behind the 10 shadows, the way Shikigami respond to cursed energy, how shadows become a medium. He watches Nobara's resonance and understands how it weaponizes a shared soul connection. He grasps the fundamentals of cursed speech, how words themselves carry cursed energy, and deep within his inherited memories, he begins to feel the echo of his mother's technique, anti-gravity, bending physics itself. Step by step, he's building an arsenal. Time passes, and the group is sent to recover another of Sukuna's fingers. But something unexpected appears. A finger bearer, so saturated with Sukuna's energy that it has evolved into a special grade-level threat. The fight is brutal from the start. This curse is on a completely different level. Yuji's still growing arsenal is pushed beyond anything training prepared him for. He cycles through everything he has: fragments of 10 shadows, anti-gravity, pieces of techniques he's barely begun to understand, forcing his body to its limits. And then, in an instant, he loses his hands, torn off effortlessly. But Yuji keeps fighting. This is what defines him, not his techniques, but his will. He's bleeding, outmatched, and fully aware he can't win. But retreat isn't even an option as long as his friends are in danger. Watching this, Megumi makes a decision. He gives control to Sukuna. Sukuna emerges, calm and amused. He takes one look at Yuji, this broken body still standing, and sees exactly what Gojo saw: potential, wasted, unfinished, but undeniable. With a single motion, he exercises the curse. Then he turns to Yuji. He calls him weak, not as an insult, but as fact. Yuji snaps back, using cursed speech, but Sukuna is far beyond him. The backlash makes Yuji's throat burst with blood. Disappointed, Sukuna slashes his heart and hands control back to Megumi, so Yuji can see his friend before he dies. supplies. Gojo arrives minutes later. Shoko is called, but the damage is too severe. Even reverse cursed energy can't save him. She turns away and declares Yuji dead, but at death's door. Just before his final heartbeat, Yuji understands reverse cursed technique, a skill most sorcerers spend years chasing and never achieve. Gojo watches the boy breathe again and feels something unsettling. He's seen this kind of miracle before. Yuji has become exactly what he expected, so Gojo makes a decision. He takes Yuji away and trains him in secret while the world believes he's gone. The next phase of Yuji's training is the most difficult yet: Limitless. The technique of the Gojo clan, the manipulation of space itself, infinity, untouchable defense, the most advanced curse technique in modern jujutsu. Yuji can't truly use it. Without the 6 eyes, it's inefficient, too costly, too slow. But that's not the goal. All he needs is a moment, a fraction of a second, activating infinity at the exact point of impact, not as a constant defense, but as a surprise shield no one would ever expect from him. It takes everything he has, but eventually, he does it. At the same time, Gojo guides him toward Shrine, Sukuna's own technique. Yuji makes a promise to himself. The next time he faces Sukuna, he'll prove him wrong, and he'll do it with his own power. He continues mastering the 10 shadows, summoning each Shikigami, building control and connection. One by one, they yield, all except one, Maharaga. No matter how many times he tries, Yuji isn't strong enough. Every ritual ends the same, with Gojo stepping in to destroy it. Still, Yuji doesn't stop. One more time, but this time, something changes. As the ritual begins, a new presence appears, Jogo. Drawn by the surge of energy, Gojo steps forward casually, unfazed. "So, you're the curse Megumi mentioned." He pauses. "You look weak." And for the first time in his life, Jogo is furious. The fight that follows is the perfect lesson, and Yuji watches every second. He sees Jogo's maximum technique for the first time. He sees the way volcanic, infernal cursed energy moves, how it amplifies under emotional pressure, how it can be focused or scattered based on intent. Then he sees it for the first time, a domain clash. Gojo overpowers Jogo and takes his head. But before they can begin the questioning, Hanami arrives to pull Jogo back. They may have escaped, but Yuji has become much stronger because of them. A few days pass and Yuji is sent in a secret mission with Nanami. As his teacher searches for Mahito, Yuji is tracking Junpei. After punching some sense into Junpei, Mahito appears and transfigures him just to make fun of Yuji. This fight with Mahito is the most personal thing Yuji has faced. Junpei is the first person he couldn't save. Mahito is sure Yuji can't harm him, but then with a punch half of his body shifts and explodes. Mahito looks at Yuji, ecstasy in his eyes. Yuji can use his technique, his natural predator. The fight begins and Mahito soon finds himself cornered. And then in the middle of the battle, he takes a gamble by expanding his domain for the 5th time. But Yuji doesn't stand behind and does the same. His domain does something unique. It doesn't specialize in a single technique. Instead, it creates a space where multiple techniques can be woven together and applied as a sure-hit combination. A reflection of what Yuji actually is, not a specialist, and everything. Yuji merges Shrine with Transfiguration and rains it down on Mahito, but the domains are too unstable and both collapse before Yuji can perform the killing blow. Mahito barely escapes, but Junpei doesn't. Yuji learns, standing over what's left of his friend, that his power has limits that technique can never address. He can do anything he sees, but he cannot save everyone he loves. That lesson costs him more than any physical injury ever has. A few weeks pass. The Goodwill event between Tokyo and Kyoto schools begins. Yuji's has came back from the dead and will be taking part of it, and because of him, the Kyoto students arrive with orders. Eliminate Yuji Itadori. The higher-ups want him gone before he becomes uncontrollable. One Gojo is already enough for them to deal with. Yuji spends the opening of the event watching, learning. The Kyoto students carry techniques he hasn't seen yet, and when they make their move, he plans to give them all back. Every technique, reflected through his own cursed energy, turned against its original user. They all surround him, but he is saved by Toru. He has found interest in Yuji. Both of them bond over big booty Latinas. They then exchange some punches, and Toru understands that Yuji is having problems controlling his emotions. When Hanami appears, they basically ignore him, treating him only as a training dummy. The curse loses its temper and begins an attack when suddenly Yuji connects not 1, not 2 or 3, but 4 black flashes back to back. Then Yuji looks at him and remembers, "Oh, it's you." Yuji deploys Jogo's technique for the first time in a real fight. The volcanic heat output, shaped with precision and combined with Todo's boogie woogie, creates chaos that Hanami cannot track. Hanami absorbs the forest energy and prepares to open a domain, but it is too late. With a last maximum fire blast, they exorcise Hanami. Right there. That day, 10 of Sukuna's fingers were stolen, and Yuji was promoted to special grade. Then on Halloween in the city of Shibuya, a veil descends, and only Gojo can pass it. Everything happens the way it happened in the original timeline. The station, the crowds, the trap that Kenjaku has spent years laying perfectly. Gojo is sealed into the prison realm. The strongest sorcerer in the world is gone in an instant. After the incident, the remaining sorcerers break through the veil and split up. Yuji finds Choso. The fight is vicious, and somewhere in the middle of it, something strange happens. Choso hesitates. He looks at Yuji and calls him his brother. It doesn't make sense to either of them yet, it is the truth, and so they part on their different ways, avoiding more conflict. Elsewhere, Toji Fushiguro is reincarnated, dragged back into the living. He tears through everything in his path, but something is different this time. When fighting Megumi, Toji feels Sukuna inside him, and this time he doesn't care about his son. Megumi, cornered and desperate, sees no other solution but to summon Mahoraga. Mahoraga kills Toji, and then as it is usual, he turns on Megumi that was ready to be sacrificed. But that was not in Sukuna's plans, so he takes control and faces the Divine General. The fight levels the city, but he is still too weak to deliver the finishing blow, and Mahoraga keeps adapting. However, Jogo arrives with the 10 stolen fingers and offers them to him. With 15 fingers, Sukuna tames Mahoraga. Yuji sees it happen, and he goes after Jogo first because Jogo enabled this, because Jogo is the accelerant, and because if Yuji doesn't take him out now, the fire only spreads. The fight is brutal. Yuji reaches deep into everything he has. Shrine's cleaving force, the volcanic heat now fully mastered, the flash of infinity. At the exact right moment, Jogo connects a hit. Jogo falls. Mahito comes next, but he is just in the way. Yuji immediately kills him by opening his domain and mixing Jogo's and Mahito's techniques into one hit that destroys him. And then Yuji turns to face Sukuna. Sukuna, wearing the body of Yuji's best friend, is eager to kill Yuji. He may even be a worthy opponent. They trade blows hit after hit. Yuji eventually connects black flashes one after another. Sukuna realizes that he needs open some space between them and sends a slash that Yuji blocks with the Limitless. And then he goes for his domain and Yuji does the same. The domains clash. Sukuna has a much stronger refinement, however Yuji's domain doesn't break. All thanks to Megumi's soul, still present inside Sukuna, is fighting too. Not with technique, with sheer, stubborn refusal to be erased. It buys Yuji fractions of a second. It interrupts Sukuna's control and output at critical moments. It's enough. Clash after clash, blow after blow. Yuji gets the advantage, but Sukuna summons Mahoraga to fight besides him. That isn't fair. Yuji replies as he summons his own Mahoraga. They both open their domains one more time and destroy each other's Shikigami. The domains fall. Sukuna smiles, but then he is cut in half by an unseen dismantle. The dust settles on Shibuya. This ending isn't perfect. Gojo is sealed. Kenjaku is still out there. His plan delayed but not destroyed, the conditions he needs will eventually come together again. The Jujutsu world is fractured. The higher-ups who tried to have Yuji killed are still in power. Megumi is gone, but there are still 5 Sukuna fingers out in the world. But Yuji Itadori, the boy born with every cursed technique, the boy Kenjaku built as his masterpiece, continues Gojo's work. He protects the weak and keeps the dream that Gojo once had alive. Yuji has become the strongest, and he will guide the world to a better future.